pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll call this Tuesday, November 26, 2024 meeting to order. The chair will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Chair will also make a motion to approve the consent agenda A through O.
Second.
Motion second. Looking through the consent agenda, is there anything anybody wants to highlight? It's all pretty normal highlights, so. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. So on the agenda, first thing on the agenda for Board of County Commissioners is, number one is to appoint the Fair Board members to new terms. I believe that we had given them access to having more than what they had normally had and bump that number up to around 13 or 15 for the fact that that's 2 weeks of time that they have to take off to try to get fair going and all this stuff. And so the more people, the merrier. And so, so we do have some letters of interest. I believe 5 letters of interest. So what is our pleasure?
Well, the Fair Board letter of interest was Wyatt Oberwitty. And we had Gage Kalchek, Dakota Alstrom, Kelly Hepworth, Lee Gittleson. So, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to appoint all 5 of those to the Fair Board.
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? We had more of some pulled out at the last second, Jennifer. We understand. So just appreciate anybody willing to volunteer on these boards. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Number 2 is the approval to approve Event Center Master Plan. Is Roy online or no?
Doesn't seem to be.
Is Roy online, Brian? No, okay. All right. Well, I think we could highlight it enough to go through. Last meeting, we had a big presentation on the master plan that I think all of us throughout the meetings and everything were agreed to. Anybody want to highlight anything that before we go to a motion? I don't want to recap everything that they did last week. We spent 2 hours on it last week.
Pretty good job covering everything in our last presentation.
I will just say for knowledge of anybody that didn't listen to it last meeting, is that this is a phased plan. This is just a master plan. Nothing is set in stone here. This is just a channel that we can kind of run through, working towards the main goal of having a multi-purpose event center at the Moffett County Fairgrounds. So.
And that we still have design and engineering, and that this is conceptual. So this is not the final design. There's a lot of work still to be done on the design and engineering.
Yeah, I think somebody's seen a picture of that flat roof on one of the concepts, and they're like, remember, we live in Craig. We don't need flat roofs in Craig. And so It was just conceptual. So. All right, what is our pleasure for the approval of event master plan?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the Event Center Master Plan as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? You know, some might think this is a pipe dream or whatever it is, but something that we've worked up to this point, and I think it's something that would be a benefit to Moffett County. But see where it goes from here. It's a lot of money, and we got to find out how we pay for it. But you have to start with this, so appreciate all the hard work that went into it.
I think it's worth noting too, that when we were prioritizing things 4 years ago, looking at what we were going to be losing, that we looked at how do we repurpose the campuses of Tri-State and Trapper Mine, and how do we encourage new revenue, and how do we diversify revenue? And this was one of the streams that we looked at for diversifying revenue and kind of not putting all of our eggs in one basket, but bringing more sales tax revenue into the community as well, and potential new development.
I think it's a great point that city came up with 3 things that they were going to focus on. We came up with 3 things that we were going to focus on. And I believe 2 of ours have come to the whole next stage, this project and the pumped hydro project. And so I think those 2 things that we're the things that we started with, we're checking them off the box, and if they come to fruition, it's a different story, but we're into the next level. So that's good. So
We also were able to put together the marketing brochure for the Trapper Industrial Park, and we've used that for several different opportunities to market that, and have shared that with different entities that are actively looking at Trapper Mine.
sure. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Good job. All right, so next is number 3, approval application for DOLA resiliency grant. And who's this?
Oh, I can cover this one too. We had the opportunity with DOLA for the planning for the next step with the event center, including geothermal and solar with this multi-purpose event and resiliency center. The opportunity with this DOLA grant allows us to apply for $2 million with a 10% matching grant. And so rather than applying for the regular DOLA, I think it was 1 million with a 50% match, we chose to go this route. I think Neil's got everything all sewn up and ready to apply. The grant committees looked this over and done their approval process. So now it's just to the final step for us to do the process of approval.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve application for the DOLA resiliency grant.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, staff reports. Candace is going to be on the hook for a few moments here for a couple resolutions we need from part of development services. Looking at 3 resolutions, resolution 2024-123, amendment to resolution 2017-153, financial policies. Also 2024-124, amendment to resolution 2017-152 and 2019-160, capital improvement policies. And then last is resolution 204-125.
2024, sorry.
Okay, no problem. 2024-125, amendment to resolutions 2019-85 and 2007, there you go, -34, fixed asset policy. So let you give us the highlight, and we'll make these each one individual
Okay.
Approval, yeah.
Okay. So obviously I'm stepping in for, Neil on this. So the program, Neil went after, it's not a standard, consumer lease, but so we looked at, rather than purchasing vehicles, leasing vehicles for the county. We're still able to purchase the vehicles at the end of the 5-year term. We're also able to utilize the buying power of enterprise, which affords us the ability to order the vehicle to our specs rather than being at the mercy of whichever vehicle may be on the lot of the dealership that wins the bid, and then having to upfit the vehicle, which adds more cost. So we've looked at the fleet program for the sheriff's department, and then we've done a couple of the other county vehicles. Not everything has switched over to the fleet program, but I think we're going to get through the first year or so with the fleet program and see how it's working, and then look at doing that for the other departments of the county.
So all three of these resolutions are all tied back
To the policy
to what we're
relating,
trying to do
Yeah.
with the enterprise.
yeah, and so each of these policies relates to our purchasing of vehicles for the county.
Yeah, I think instead of purchasing, we went to trying to lease them, and they're saying, they're gonna say, we actually talked to the city last night about what we've done, and so they're looking into it as well. I think if it's all said and true, it will save us money in the long run. But
Yeah, the estimated rough savings is about 30,000 a year on our sheriff's fleet with this, which it doesn't include the many man hours into the buying process of each vehicle. And then we also garnered the knowledge from Enterprise, which also knows what vehicles are trending, what's a good resale value, low warranty issues, and pointing us in the direction of smart buying versus buying a vehicle that has a pattern of known issues. So a lot of benefits to that.
And I believe, if I'm mistaken, that you can actually buy it too.
Yes.
So like if we're done with it and
Yep.
it's a good deal and it's been a good truck, like if if it's the sheriff's office and Road and Bridge wants to buy that vehicle, they can buy it at whatever cost we owe on it. And so it's all around, I think it's going to help us. And we've been waiting on vehicles for a long time. And I think we started this program and sheriff's office has vehicles lined up outside,
Right.
ready to get transferred over. So so far, it's been a really good transition, so. Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
What is our pleasure?
You want to do these in 3 separate motions?
I was thinking they're all doing the same, so I think you could probably make them in one if you want.
So as they relate to cleaning, unless Gary corrects you.
Yeah.
So as they relate to cleaning up the purchasing policy for our fleet management, I will make it in one motion. I would move to approve Resolution 2024-123, an amendment to Resolution 2017-153, financial policies. Resolution 2024-124, an amendment to Resolutions 2017-152 and 2019-86, capital improvement policies. And Resolution 2024-125, an amendment to Resolutions 2019-85 and 2007-34, fixed asset policies.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this?
And I'll also note that one of the things that we questioned on this was whether or not we could still utilize our local dealerships through this fleet management policy, and we are able to do that. And we do also save some by allowing the in-house upfit still on our sheriff's department vehicles.
Sure. Good point.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay.
All right, presentations. Memorial Regional Health, Jennifer Riley is going to present Resolution 2024-122, a county resolution on ambulance services.
Good morning.
Renee, how
Thank-
are we today?
Great. How are you?
Good.
So thank you. If it's all right with you, I'll just do the same brief presentation that I did at the workshop last week, just to bring everybody up to speed and make sure we're all on the same page. So I want to first start by saying what I'm talking about is not going to change the way anybody is currently doing business with EMS in the county. So in summary, you guys still retain control over ambulance services, EMS services in the county. That's something that you retained back in July when the state made the changes that it made around licensing. So you guys still have a say about who operates and does what in the county. In our county, we have a couple of different EMS services that operate. We have our EMS service, which is a 24/7, 365 service staffed. We have the Maybell EMS, which is a volunteer service that's just 30 miles west of Craig. We've got your county reserve EMS, which is a volunteer service that is overseen by Todd. And then also that operates sometimes in our county is West Route Fire. We are looking at the ability to, with Medicare, to be able to consider our EMS service as an allowable cost on our cost report with Medicare. Up until now, we didn't think that that was possible, and EMS costs that we pay, what we pay for EMS is not an allowable cost, isn't considered by Medicare, so it essentially lowers our reimbursement for Medicare. There have been we've done some analysis. We are working with our attorney from Hall Render. We are able to ask Medicare to consider it as a cost-based service if we meet a couple of requirements. One is that we're the only service within a 35-mile radius. We aren't. However, we are the only service within a 35-mile radius that takes patients away from our hospital, that transfers from our hospital to Steamboat or Glenwood or Junction or Denver. We're the only service that does that. That's great. No one else is wanting to do that. I've talked to Trevor, who's West Route Fire. They're not interested in interfacility transfers. Talked to Todd Wheeler about what the Maybell Volunteer, the reserves are doing. They're not doing interfacility transfers, and they're not likely to do that. In our workshop with everybody last week, Maybell confirmed that interfacility transfers is not what they want to, that's not what they're able to do. For Medicare to consider this as a cost-based service, meeting these requirements, we need your help as the entity allowing EMS services to name Memorial Regional Health EMS as the exclusive agency to transfer away from the hospital. It does not change who brings us patients. It does not require people to transfer to us. If Maybell responded to an accident across the street from the hospital, they wouldn't have to bring there's other rules, but my point is it doesn't require anything to change, but it does say exclusively we are the transfer company away. In the revision or in the resolution that's been reviewed and approved by Gary, the county's attorney, it does make a provision for memorandums of understanding, interagency agreements in the event that there's an emergency. It does allow for people that we can make those exceptions. It is a significant increase in what we would potentially get from Medicare on our cost report every year. It's about, we estimate conservatively it would be an additional $300,000 to $500,000 in additional reimbursement from Medicare. Now this is, when I talk about cost-based reimbursement, this doesn't cover the full cost of EMS in our county. It allows us to get a better reimbursement for those Medicare patients that we transfer. It costs us about $1 to $1.2 million to operate EMS in our county. So this would effectively help offset about 50% of the cost to operate, which helps us be more sustainable. It helps us into the future. We don't want to go to the taxpayers and ask for money. This allows us to continue to be more sustainable. But to do that, we need this resolution from the county, and then we can then apply to Medicare. We'll be doing this simultaneously. If we get this resolution, we'll apply to Medicare and our fiscal intermediary to make this change happen. And we'd like to make this so it's effective 1/1. In our workshop last week, there was no opposition. Nobody had any big concerns, and so I'm hoping I can answer any questions you might have, and hopefully we can move forward with this.
Any questions? Understand, me. Gary, you're good. I think we're good. What's our pleasure? Unless you have any questions, sorry.
No.
No?
No.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-122 regarding the county resolution on ambulance services.
Second?
Motion and second. Any further discussion? One question.
Mhm.
So if Mayville was 36 miles, you wouldn't even had to do this?
Well, we would because West Route is 17 miles. County EMS is within the
miles
county.
don't
Yeah.
mean nothing then.
No, it's not county line. It's an arbitrary distance.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, I think that is everything on our agenda today. Next meeting is December 10th, right here at 8:30 a.m. Meeting adjourned.